masala scrambled eggs. Well, these mouth-watering burgers are now going to be a part of McDonald's India's new breakfast menu. Well, will the inclusion of authentic flavors boost their sales? We're now joined by Amit Jatia, who's the Vice Chairman of Westlife Development, to talk about this particular development. Hi, Amit. Afternoon. It's been about 3 days. The focus is clearly back on the company. Everyone on Twitter is talking about your new breakfast menu. Can you tell us how the response has been, what the demand has been, and any revenue numbers that you're focusing on because of this particular addition to your breakfast menu?
No, generally the feedback has been quite outstanding. If you read all the media reports, if you read all the bloggers' reports, I think pretty much people have loved the innovation that we brought on the breakfast menu with McDonald's. The dosa masala burger, the masala scrambled eggs, particularly have found a lot of interest from the consumer as well. In fact, I remember reading one article yesterday in the Times of India where they talked about how authentic the taste of the dosa masala was, and they were pleasantly surprised with the work that McDonald's India did. And it kind of reminds me of the aloo tikki days when in 1997, 1998 we brought in the aloo tikki, and eventually it became a cult in the burger business. And I'm hoping that that's what the dosa masala burger along with the masala scrambled eggs do for breakfast. Although, you know, breakfast is a long-term strategy for McDonald's. The key is to be able to make breakfast on the go available to consumers. So we do expect that it will take time, but we think it's a positive step in that direction.
All right, Amit, good to know that you're reading all the right reviews and, you know, you're sounding quite confident with regard to this. But, you know, you must be having some targets in your mind, some particular kind of projections as well. New product being launched, well, everyone goes ahead and wallops it. But what kind of projections do you have for this particular product? Do you have some numbers in mind going ahead?
Yeah, sure. So globally, breakfast is a very important part of the McDonald's menu. And in India, of course, we introduced breakfast, but this is the first time we've completely reinvented the menu. So over the last few years, we've taken a lot of customer feedback, we've done focus groups, and based on all the learnings, we've sort of launched this new menu. This new menu is healthy, it's wholesome, all the products are by and large grilled except for the hash brown. So the first idea would be over the next 1 to 2 years to at least double the breakfast sales. While we don't break up the numbers for breakfast as yet, we think that breakfast can grow fourfold from where we are today. But at least in the next 12 to 18 months, we want to double the base of breakfast. Very long term, say 3 to 5 years, I expect breakfast to be almost as strong as lunch, which is one of the really strong day parts for McDonald's in India.
What percentage of your overall revenues come in from the breakfast sales, and is breakfast growing faster than lunch in the other categories? How you split your revenues?
Sure. So while we don't share breakup of our day parts in terms of sales, all I can tell you is we see it as a $2 billion opportunity in India. So the total breakfast sales we think is worth $2 billion in sales, and we clearly want to be leaders in that particular segment. Yeah, so basically from where we are today, say if we are doing 100 rupees in breakfast today, we want to take that to 200 in the next 12 to 18 months.
All right,
that's an ambitious target.
All right, Amit. So that's about, you know, your targets on this new product. But, you know, growing up, I was a fan of some of those burgers that came out of McDonald's. But something that used to worry us, particularly when you're growing up, is the pricing. Last year, you took a price hike, I think, in January, 3 to 6%. 2017, what kind of a price increase are you going to be taking? You must be having some numbers in your mind.
Sure. I mean, McDonald's has been, I would say, one of the most consistent brands to give our consumers consistency of pricing as well. So we've backward integrated all the way to the farms. We don't work with middlemen, and all our agricultural work that we do, we've been able to benefit that to the consumer. So all of 2016, we took only a 3% price increase. Typically, we take anywhere between 3 to 5%, and 2017 will be similar. It will be in the 3 to 5% range only.
3 to 5%, which is the average price hikes the company takes. What has been the impact of demonetization, Amit? Did it dent your sales, and has there been a consequent recovery? Any numbers you could share since, what's happened since November, December and January?
Sure, although our results are yet to be announced, but ballpark, I think the brand's foundation has really worked very well for us. While of course, immediately following the announcement, liquidity was completely sucked out and we lost about 8 to 10% of business, but only in November. In December, we had a very healthy recovery, primarily because of our ability to be able to do cashless transactions. Cashless transactions moved from about 22% all the way to 75% and have settled at about 50 to 55% currently. So we've had a good run. I think fact of the matter is that McDonald's, the price points are very attractive and affordable, and eventually people do have to eat, whether monetization or demonetization. And McDonald's stood very strong with its offerings and with the fact that we did cashless transactions.
All right, Amit, very quickly then before we wind up, at the end of Q2, you had around, I think, 250 restaurants. Could you tell us how many new restaurants did you open up in the third quarter? And also, out of these restaurants, how many of them, are leased out properties, and how many of these properties are owned?
Sure. So basically, we've not announced our results for the third quarter, so I cannot share specific numbers. But typically, we are opening 30 to 35 restaurants a year, and we are pretty much on track in FY17 to be able to do that. So that's that. And as far as owned versus leased, it's primarily leased, but we do long-term leases of 20 to 25 years. So that's pretty much where we are. So we do have owned properties as well, but I would say 90% plus would be leased.
Okay, Amit, we'll leave it to that. Thank you so much for